Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for inviting us to take part in this event. I represent I.TER, a small company which is has gained expertise in soil, in the study of soils. I.TER also cooperates with the University of Sacro Cuore, with the viticultural part being taken care of by Professor Poni. We have 10 viticultural estates that are part of this work group. We wanted the number of companies to be high because we wanted to submit a project that would really represent our local area fully. And it's a soil-based project. It's within the 4C focus area that concerns soils. It's a 3-year project. It began in April 2016 and it will end in March 2019. We produce our own logo, so it's not artwork. It's something that we came up with ourselves, and it represents Emilia Romagna as a sod. And it's important to manage that sod well so that the soil is conserved. What do we mean by terre, or earths, or lands, or soils, whatever? It's the idea of land, as Americans refer to. It includes the soil, but also the geology, morphology, the use of the land, and also the human activities that take place on it. What do we mean by soil? Soil is often referred to, and that has been the case today again. We deal with soil in terms of soil science, and we study the first 1.5 meters of the soil, the part where the vine roots can spread in and looking for water. These pictures represent the many interpretations of our connection to the land and also the definition that the Italian legislation provides. There's a definition that dates back to 1989. I did not summarize it. This is the full text. It says it's the territory, soil, subsoil, the urban centers, and the infrastructure. That's all it says. While in the European Union, the description is much more extensive. It says that soil is a precious resource that needs to be preserved, just like water and air. So there's a soil science, and it is what we are putting to good use in this research work. And this research aims at identifying environments, reconnecting the soil and the climate, and we classify the soil according to the world reference that was defined by the US researchers to identify the types of soil. We identified these 10 estates that partnered with us. In Emilia Romagna, we have an extensive history of viticulture and soil studies thanks to the University of Piacenza and the Centro Produzione Vegetale Plant Production Center that exist in our area. All the designation areas were studied in terms of both soils and also in terms of crop load. The 10 companies that represent this group represent 2 different environments in terms of soil and climate from between Emilia and Romagna, and account for 60% of the hillside viticultural area, because that's the focus of our project. One is of the areas is what you see here. It's what we call ancient red soils. They can go back hundreds of thousands of years. No lime, and it's a plateau 300 meters approximately above sea level, with gradients that are very, very low. It's almost flat. Maximum it's 20%. These are very deep soils, and you will not find rocks up until 3-4 meters in depth. The other environment that's typical of our area that we took as a reference is the fossils of the Piacenza area. These are soils that are very ancient. The rock substrate is 5 million years, while the soil comes from erosion. The soil, as you can see here, is calcareous with rock inclusions around 1 meter deep. So it's two very different types of soils and settings. Actually, if we have to provide guidelines, which is the goal of this project, we have to do so by environment, by local area, and also in terms of gradients and texture. These are clay-rich soils, the others being more rich in lime, and so they also have different draining capacities and water retention potentials. The project aims at identifying guidelines to protect soil, and that can also support the farmer trying to take care of the farmer's financial sustainability. We deal with soil erosion and soil leaching. What's the situation in Emilia Romagna after years when part of our local area was regularly grassed every other alley, 10-15 years? This is not an experimental test. What the advisors recommend to make it possible for the soil to capture more water, the land, some alleys are plowed. So after extensive grassing all over the vineyards, now they are plowing some of the alleys to retain water. But that also has other implications. For instance, the ability to retain nutrients, because grassing has serves that function too. And this is one of the many activities that we carry out, monitoring how the soil is managed in terms of grassing and plowing. We wanted to define and share guidelines with the growers, and PROVITERRE means exactly that, protecting viticultural land and the role of the viticulturists in preserving these territories and conserving them. We do that on top of our research activities, through also popularization activities with debates and other demo-based activities. Now, 8 of the wineries are in Piacenza, 2 are in the Romagna area, south of Bologna. The companies in Piacenza decided to partner with us because we've been active in the area for very long now. These work groups are based on a formal commitment that all the partners sign in front of a notary public, and that lasts 5 years. For a grower, that's very meaningful, I think. It's something that is really binding. Organic matter monitoring, and I was referring to the statistical data that we have in Emilia Romagna, and the content of organic matter tells us that with grassing there has been an improvement in organic matter. Here we have the adaptation of a methodology used in other research projects, such as Life in Emilia Romagna. We take samples using drills and studying soil sections, as you've seen in the previous images, down to 1.5 meters deep. For organic matter, we have 2 analytical methods, the element analyzer and the AFRSS. we have lots of historical data associated with other methodologies, and so we decided to take both references. In terms of soil leaching, we've analyzed the two pedological settings, and we've used a rainfall simulator that has been used by other European researchers that has proved to be reliable in these kind of monitoring activities. There's a part followed by the Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore associated with the fruit to leaf ratios and how productive the vineyard is based on whether they are plowed or grassed. And we have a production area, production lab at a winery where we use a diversity of cover crops to see what the productivity of the vineyard is affected. This is the estate where we have the demo plots, and here's the detail of the types of soil and the ability of the soil to retain water, which was already provided an early response on our initial studies. Thank you very much.